Hello everybody and welcome back to Always the Worst Friday Film. And that was probably one of my best intros because I took everybody by surprise. So shocked.
We're live somehow. Like, hi Chris.
Yeah.
Hi Michael.
I just go. That's how this works. So
right, cool.
We'll go then.
I have got a couple of changes for today that I just wanted to throw on you.
Oh boy.
We're getting rid of Michael.
Yes, bye Michael. Well, don't say that because next week you will probably not be here, so it will look like we got rid of you.
It will, yes. Made some executive decisions.
So the change I've done is I found two news stories that I would quickly like to talk about before we jump into Mortal Kombat. Just for your guys' opinions on what stuff's going on.
All right.
Sure.
Yeah, I was going to tell you this before, but I forgot before we started.
That's fine. Just throw it on as the last second. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah. So the first one,
Cool.
the big one that is made me a bit moist is they're doing a Fallout TV series on Amazon Prime.
Of course.
Yes.
That would butter your biscuit any day, wouldn't it?
Oh, yes. And the big thing is, it is the creators of Westworld that are doing it, the directors of it. I just want to throw out there, what's your guys' opinions on that? Are you excited about it? Do you think this is a big poo-poo adventure?
I'm trying to say like I have no thoughts on the whole entire process because let's face it, this is like a post-apocalyptic TV show based on a property that has little to no story, really. It only really kind of follows individual adventures, if you get what I mean.
Yeah.
So outside of like the generic setting of it's the end of the world and we all live in vaults and that kind of thing, I think they would have no issue creating a TV show within that parameter. Like it basically just lends itself to storytelling.
This is my big take from this is the point of this is it needs to be kind of funny no matter how bleak it is because that's the point of most of the Fallout series. Outside of Fallout 4 who took a left turn on some of the tone issues, but most of Fallout is such a piss take at corporate America and it's like GTA kind of level of, haha, look, we'll make fun of yous. See if they keep that element in. You know, shady government, but shady government does weird stuff in weird ways that makes it kind of funny, the fact that they're torturing people and all that. I think it'd be quite cool. And if you follow the original Fallout games, like maybe have like some of your stories based around the original Vault Dweller taking down stuff like the Super Mutant Master, which was one hell of a storyline of the future, and we are the kind of lower race of people as humans.
Yeah.
There's a lot in this world that I think they need to dive into.
Well, I feel like most writers right now are kind of chomping at the bit to tell some sort of like allegory for social standings at the moment, and they're just like, wait a minute, I can do it here. Like you'd be hard pressed not to get that kind of stuff in there somewhere. Don't know if they'll get the right level of parody or like whatever, but
that's
to be seen.
Me.
Yeah, it's the tone that needs to be managed.
Because you've got mental things in Fallout, like the Vault of Gary's, where they left a guy in a vault with a cloning machine, and he just cloned himself constantly, and it becomes a Vault of Gary's who become mental, and they try and take over when they leave the vault and things, which is bonkers. So yeah, there's a lot of cool shit that I think they need to explore.
Yes.
But I don't think they will, because it'll end up being... See if it ends up having that, remember, like Gears of War colour grade over it, where everything's bleak, then they've lost the fucking point.
Do you know what that kind of colour grading always makes me think of?
What's
like
that?
Final year student film.
Yes, well, they've finally got enough knowledge to know how to colour grade, but they don't have the foresight to create tone in a colour grade. I just want to point out the blank look of Michael right now of like, I don't know what the fudge you guys are talking about.
No.
You ever played a Fallout, Michael?
I've not played a Fallout. I've not done a Fallout. I've not watched a Westworld.
Have you had a Fallout? Because you're having one now.
I think I'm about to, yeah. No, but I understand your point of how it could be very interesting. I've seen you can't avoid Fallout in the world, so like
I put out a tweet about this when I found it out, and the best way I could put it is my inner voice going, this could be interesting, I hope they do well, but my actual voice is going, are they going to have Ron Perlman in it? Are they going to have the Vault of Gary's? Are they going to have Fallout New Vegas? Are they going to be weird apocalyptic Romans? Like, that's my level of excitement.
Silence the nerd within you, Chris. They will never be appeased. Like, just put them away in a box.
It kills me inside. But it's a world that I want them to explore. I really, really want them to explore, because I think it's such a fun world that as long as they don't get too dystopian, it could be quite fun.
I bet like the opening sequence is Donald Trump pushing the big red button, and then cut to 20 years later, we're just like,
See if they got the guy that plays Chandler. I can never remember the actor's actual name.
Matthew Perry.
If they get him in it in some form, I'll be quite happy, because he was in New Vegas. He played one of the guys in New Vegas.
Yeah. He's a big fan, isn't he?
I think he would make just a great robot, because like robots always deal well with like being sarcastic.
He's not Chandler Bing. That's not him. That was a character he played on our show called Friends.
No. I think he's actually Chandler Bing.
I fucking hope so. Has anyone like just bringing that up with Matthew Perry? Has anyone seen the Windows 95 video with the cast of Friends?
Yes. Oh my God, yes.
No.
I have. It's so nuts.
Because they're technically they're supposed to be playing themselves like as people. They are, but they end up playing them as their friends' characters, because that's what the producers wanted, obviously, in this bit. And it's just Matthew Perry like chewing the scenery over like Windows features and stuff. My God, could they fit any more RAM in here? It's fucking cringe.
Oh, it's so good. So, Michael.
Yes.
You need to play a Fallout game now. I have made an executive decision again to make you play a Fallout game.
Okay.
Start with New Vegas, personally.
Oh. I was gonna start with
Like
3.
Fallout. Why 3? No, just start with the actual good Fallouts.
Well, the problem with
Okay.
game are is, if you're not into PC gaming, they are very difficult to play.
Right. Okay.
I should know I could not get out the vault in the first one, because I didn't realize.
You know what I was probably gonna do is just not.
Okay, you've destroyed my life. Second point: watch Shoddycast.
Thanks, Dad.
Watch Shoddycast Storyteller series, and then you'll know everything about Fallout in the most entertaining machinima way I have actually ever watched.
Cool. I can do that. I can watch things.
I have eyes. I have ears.
I can't.
No fingertips.
I can't segue, because seguing's hard. So the next topic was the View Cinema have pushed back the release date to open their cinemas to the 31st of July. Good thing, bad thing?
I think.
Do we care about going back to the cinema?
I don't like the cinema. You know this, Chris. Like I'll say it 100 times. I'll say it again. I think cinemas are a fucking waste of money and the wrong platform to actually launch films on these days. No.
Okay. This is where my issue lies in this before we get into our film, because I don't know that people were going to pay money to buy the streaming version of a film for like £20. See, because like to rent them is like £15 or something.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see people doing that at home. I thought they were gonna, but see, the more I've been kind of kicking about doing stuff at home now,
we're not paying £15, right? But we have literally been fine with paying like a $5 to view stuff on Amazon Prime.
See, that's the thing, though. But see, for a premiere of a film, I don't know the amount of average people, like not avid movie people, that are going to pay for like the new Marvel film £15 to sit in their living room and watch it.
Well, okay, so again, you come to this issue where like people are spending £15 to go see a Marvel movie, right? Okay, they go see it once, maybe twice, right? See if they can get that movie on demand any time of day that they fucking want to for a $5 or something like that. They probably watch it like 50 times. These people fucking love those films.
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't think that they'll do the premieres of them that cheap though, because I don't think they did the premieres of them, the films that have came out on digital services.
Take the video game model then, like launch it for whatever exorbitant price of fucking £37 or something like that, and then 2 weeks later it's down. Like just get the people who really want to see it paying the money, and then let everyone else see it.
Yeah.
Yes, Donna also doesn't like the cinema. Yeah.
Yous are the worst.
Yes.
Well,
Yeah,
hold on, because I've not really said anything, so why am I the worst?
No,
What?
not you. I'm talking about Mark and Donna. They're the worst for not liking the
Oh,
cinema.
right.
Michael, are you on
I
my
thought you
side?
just
Do you like the
said-
cinema?
Right, so
Oh, that never
Here's-
bodes
I
well
am-
for me.
I am the worst. No, I understand your point, Chris. The cinema is there's the cinema experience, like going out to the cinema with some friends, sitting watching a film like the day of release. I love that midnight release of certain films. That's always a fun thing to go along to. But if someone said to me, "Would you rather spend, let's say £15 and sit in a massive room filled with strangers, and have to walk past them all if you need to pee, and have to also spend fucking £6 to £10 on snacks, or would you rather spend £15 and just stay at home and watch it with people you actually like? Pause it if you need to, and there's that.
Yes. That's pretty much it. It's the cinema is not a problem. I actually really enjoy the idea of like grand theater systems, like fucking booming sound. Everything is just so cool from that.
Yep.
But people ruin it. And the only way I've been able to view films is when the Cineworld VIP section. Because people pay the money because they want to sit and watch a fucking film in comfort and in quiet. And that's why it's there. It's great.
Yeah. And also, if you've ever been to a Marvel cinema premiere, it's filled with fucking sweaty nerds, man.
Yep. Stank.
I'm one of them, but yeah, but there is that stank, that gamer nerd stank.
Yeah.
The ones that you really, you can be a nerd, sure. Discover shower gel.
Yeah. See, if I'd been to a cinema in the past, I don't know, 10 years, and I haven't told someone to get off their phone, then I'd have a different opinion. But every time I go, I have to tell someone to get the fuck off their phone. And it's infuriating because I'm not their dad. I'm not there to like tell them what to do. And it's like,
sorry,
here I
Mark.
am.
I wasn't listening. I was on my phone.
Oh, right. Yeah. So I saw you fucking piece of shit. Remember I told you I went to see, like, last thing I saw in the cinema was Birds of Prey, right? And there's a guy fucking over to my right, like maybe a row forward, taking selfies with a flash. With a fucking flash.
So stuff like your VIP at Cineworld and View and all that, and the likes of the theater up near like
GFT
can you
and
remember
stuff.
like
yeah
stuff like that where it is treated as an experience, where it's more ornate.
Yep.
Stuff like that is brilliant. I love the idea of having those big grand premieres where it's everyone in like black tie and stuff like that. All the actors are there. That's glorious. But see those people that are now treating the theater, because everything, and it's happened across the board. It's happened with flights, and it's happened with the actual theater itself. Everything's sort of going down because it's been made more commercially available.
Yeah.
Like whenever I go to see a show on stage, my rule is always wear something with a collar. And that's,
like a dog
that's the
collar.
bare-
That'll do. You just turn up to the
Yes,
premiere and
even a
dragged around.
dog collar, a flea collar, whatever.
Hey, I
And
think
always wear something that's got like a something that can button up. It's got a collar. That's my minimum. And see, so many years ago, even that wouldn't have been accepted. Back when I was in London a few years ago, there was someone kicking about in shorts
Well,
at the theater, and you're just like, that's just not the decorum.
My last experience of actually going to I went to see an opera performance in Glasgow, and there was a guy sat next to me just playing like online casino the entire time on his phone, and people just like walking in and out like all the time during the performance, like slamming doors and like talking to each other. And I'm like, are you actually kidding me?
Why
Like,
have you spent the money on this thing to
these
just
people are
treat
here
it like this?
to perform for you in this like fucking brilliant setting, and you're just like, just put your money back in your pocket and fuck off.
Yeah.
Like,
So in answer to your question, Chris, 31st of July is it's
a relevant
thing.
date.
It's
you know
just
what? It's
it's
great.
a
Like
date.
open it right now. Send all those fucking assholes back in, and they can all just infect each other. I don't give a shit at this point.
Yes.
Okay, I get it. I am the minority of this fucking conversation. Like, nobody gives a fuck. Like, I get it. I'm the only person that really still enjoys the cinema. I still have all... See the grievances you have?
Did
I
Did you
have,
not listen to a word I just said?
I have all those grievances. But the thing for me is, and Donna, just because Donna's my anchor to reality when it comes to cinema, has been there. So what happens is, I will bitch and moan most of the way, and then see the second the actual picture starts, I turn into a 6-year-old, and I start getting all shaky and excited, and it's brilliant. And I think it's that, doesn't matter what film it is, it's that childhood part of me that turns on these blinders.
I think it's, for me, it only works if it's a Universal or 21st Century Fox. Those like intros, they make it.
Yeah.
Do
Do you know what it is about them though? Is they're so iconic, and they've been around since we have been tiny. They've never changed since we have been, like 5 and 6 year old. They've been the exact same. I pose a question. This is my last question before we get into Mortal Kombat. The reason we're here. What was the last cinema experience you went to that you actually enjoyed? What was the film you seen that you actually had a lot of fun at going to see? If there was any.
Oh, I had no one recently. Like, I went to see The Room at the GFT because the live experience of seeing The Room is fucking hilarious, because like everyone has these like ideas of like stupid shit to say during the thing, and it's designed for that purpose, that everyone should just make fun of the film along with it, so you're all having a good laugh. There's like these moments where there's like hidden spoons in the sceneries. For some reason, there's always spoons, and people just start shouting "spoon" and like throwing plastic spoons into and stuff like that, right? And like everyone knows the lines, and there's this thing they do as well, because like for some reason The Room has like an establishing shot every 15 seconds, so everyone just goes, "Meanwhile in San Francisco."
So good.
Oh, it's so funny, man. I had a great laugh at that. That was a good night.
Michael, how about you?
I kind of enjoyed the triple bill of Star Wars, but like that was just a triple bills are always a long haul, man. They always, it's good to see the film, but you're also just like, I'm so tired and I've not eaten anything substantial. I'm filled with popcorn, coffee, and rage.
Where did you go see those?
That was the Odeon at the Key.
Because I know that the Grosvenor in the West End, sort of Ashton Lane, that one did a lot of triple bill nights, and I can't remember which one I went to see. I think it might have been Indiana Jones, right? And honestly, it was so funny because they started them at like 11 o'clock at night, and so when it got to the third movie, most people were completely pissed, like because you could allowed alcohol inside the cinema, and either that or they were just sleeping in their seats, and it was just like, what the fuck? And my friend, I won't say your name, you old work colleague friend, he fell asleep in the toilet. Not any seat. So I was like for hours going, oh my god, I've lost him. Has he gone home? He's not responding to his phone or anything. And like, I went into the toilet to see if I could I was like, and I noticed there was a cubicle that was still locked, and I'm like, right, I'm gonna knock once, and if no one responds, I'm just gonna have to go for it. Oh, I've been blacked out. Apparently, there we go. I've been shut off the power in my house.
That's your friend. Your friend has went, nope.
Yeah. Skype forgot my settings midway through a call. That's amazing. But no, so I go up to the toilet door, I get out a 50 pence piece and unlock, push it open. There he is, kecks down, sat in the fucking toilet. Fully asleep.
Brilliant. Oh, so good.
That's fucking brilliant.
I was like, mate, put your dick away and let's go.
What a line. What a line.
And Mark is back. He's there.
Yeah, I'm just gonna boost myself back into reality here. Sorry, guys.
That's all right. Oh, that's too good. Okay.
Right.
My best cinema experience, since we're all sharing, was my pal Scott won a competition where The Witcher 3 was coming out, and they put a competition out. It wasn't really a competition, just first come, first serves. And he was lucky enough to be quick enough to get in it. And we won. And the idea was you voted for the best hunting film of all time.
Right.
I wonder what you picked.
I wonder which won this film, and it was Predator.
The
Of
the
course.
Predator, obviously.
Do not say
How
that.
did we get here? Like,
I've orchestrated this elaborate ruse with 2 news stories just to get to this point. But he won tickets to go see that, and we went to see it. And see, the experience you had with The Room was the exact same experience I had with Predator. Everybody there was there for the reason of seeing this, not just because it's a new film out. You were there because you took part in this competition to come see this movie.
Yeah.
So it was not quiet, but it done so well because of it. Because any moment, the minute you had the big Arnie, Carl Weathers hand clapping bicep thing,
just everyone in the audience
like,
is
like any quote, and I'm talking about that. This is people who could quote the film better than me. Any moment that had a quotable moment, everybody screamed and shouted at. Get to the chopper, you got the biggest thing, and that made cinema for me. It was that moment we all clapped at the end and stuff. Was having a collective of people who you don't know, but you've got a connection with them now because you all came to this moment. That was my best cinema experience.
Yeah, that sounds good. Because I mean, I went to one of those nights for The Thing. They had that in the GFT. I went there, and literally, it was an audience full of absolute plebs, and they were all just like fucking like giggling their way through like the fucking amazing like practical effects work and stuff like that. And I'm just like, you guys are assholes. Like, I actually wanted to leave, despite the fact that I fucking love The Thing. I think it's an amazing film, and I was just like, yeah, cheers, guys.
Thanks for
make me hate
this.
cinema.
Exactly, and it's the moments, isn't it? So, on to my other amazing segue.
The main event.
Yep. Let's get ready to rumble, as they say. I was going to do it really loud, but then I realised I'll probably burst your eardrums because you've got headphones in.
Ooh, let's get ready to rumble.
Mortal Kombat.
Oh, right, Mortal Kombat.
No, wrong one. It's a. Oh no.
I just watched this the night, and I can't remember it now. So, Michael.
It doesn't matter. It's not. There's no. The music wasn't important in Mortal Kombat.
What? The music is the only good thing about this entire fucking film.
It is.
You can
Okay,
shut your mouth.
So, Michael.
You know what this? Like, this should be a unique category on IMDb of films that use one song 7 times during the entire film. It could be in there with Hackers and anything.
Oh yeah.
Remember, Hackers plays Voodoo People like 77 times. This one plays the Mortal Kombat theme 77 times.
For sure. It's like any moment they have a fight, and then they actually use it wrong, which we'll talk about later. That I want to talk about.
Yeah.
So, Michael, you're one of the few people in the world that own this on DVD.
I have the DVD of Mortal Kombat.
And please,
I have the VHS. I don't know where it is, but I have the VHS.
I have Predator on VHS, and it has the original price tag on it. It was like 80 quid. It's like, in what world was that £80?
What the fuck?
It must be.
I remember video games used to cost like 80 quid, right? So I'm not like denying that might have been a thing, but gee, no wonder the Barras was popular.
Yeah, exactly.
Jesus.
So, Michael, I want you to take us through an epic journey of the blurb.
Oh yes.
I can do that. A dramatic reading of Mortal Kombat
by Michael the Android.
Lord Raiden, not Raiden, Lord Raiden, Christopher Lambert, has rescued them, but he cannot fight for them. They, a martial artist, an action film star, a soldier, are the chosen 3. And while the world's fate rests on their shoulders, the rest of us can enjoy the thrills as they compete to save us all in the body-slamming, mystical-tinged, full-tilt spectacle of creatures and conflict that is Mortal Kombat. Paul Anderson, Resident Evil Afterlife, directs this astonishing and trend-setting experience that showed how to turn a smash-hit video game into a movie smash.
Wait.
Paul Anderson.
Paul Anderson of Resident Evil Afterlife.
That's what it's got.
How late
here.
is this DVD? Like, when did you buy this? Like last week?
Apparently, so So it's I don't even know, man.
It should be like Paul Anderson of Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, because
Actually,
it's only got 2 dates on the back here. It's got Mortal Kombat copyright 1995, and then it's got package design copyright 2011, New Line Productions Inc.
yeah,
So
that
maybe
makes more
this DVD
sense.
was from 2011.
Yep.
Well, they
But
didn't
even
have
then,
DVDs back then, so
Why?
let's...
Why go for Resident Evil Afterlife if not just instead
Like
of just
Resident Evil.
Resident Evil? Yeah.
The whole franchise. They should have said of Mila Jovovich fame. Like that's how people
Yeah.
know him.
Of being married to his wife.
Yes.
So we can probably just breeze past how this blurb is it's not so much a grammatical nightmare, despite it kind of is. But it's also just this wasn't proofread.
No, it was not.
Someone just wrote this and handed it to the DVD people and said, "Put this on the back," and they're like, "Have you checked it? Have you looked over it?" And they're like, we don't need to. It's fine. It's no. 26 years or 16 years, man. It's fucking.
People know what they're getting into. You should just say, the video game. It's that.
It's kind of that, but kind of also not. But yeah.
And why has it not got the catchphrases? Why doesn't it say "test your might" or just Mortal Kombat or Liu Kang?
Yeah. So you know how you would expect on the front, it's obviously got a tagline. You would expect something like "Prepare to fight," or something to that effect. The tagline for this is "Nothing in this world has prepared you for this."
So we're watching a space horror, because that's what that sounds like.
apparently so. And
Don't forget
also
dimensional horror.
Oh yeah, of course.
dimensional horror. Yes. What I love about this film, so this film's rated 15.
It was 18 when I
Based-
got it on VHS.
Oh, so I don't know if they've maybe just edited it slightly, because I want to know how a film or a video game that is one of the 2 games that created the rating system for video games,
Yep.
because of its level of blood and gore, made its way to be a 15.
Because it's the early 90s and we need to sell action figures, Michael.
Oh shit! I forgot the 90s happened.
Yep.
Oh, Power Rangers, Turtles, and Voltron ruined everything. Damn you, My Little Pony.
I fucking 90s are the best, man, because I was able to buy Judge Dredd, Alien, Predator, Terminator, RoboCop action figures every fucking place I could go, right? When could you get that now? Like, there's no 18 rated movies out just now that you can get action figures for.
No, that's very true.
I don't know the Halloween remake. Is there possible like NECA figures of that or something?
You could probably get stuff like that in like specialist stores, but you wouldn't like. Actually, what am I talking about? There's
you
no
don't
such
get
thing.
like.
There's no Woolworths nowadays.
Oh God, Woolworths. So, how did we all enjoy Mortal Kombat?
It's worse than I remember. I'll give it that, right? But I still didn't hate it, right? I don't think it's possible to hate a movie that knows exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like we're all agreed that
totally.
it's in that category of good bad.
Oh no, yeah, it's got
right.
yeah,
We're putting in that column.
It's watchable, but it's not. Like, don't expect anything from it. Don't expect your life to be enriched.
No. But like, I love how like intentionally bad it is in some sections. Like have you noticed that like every line of dialogue that came out of someone's mouth made sure they said the character's name within it?
Yes.
And it's like, and you, Liu Kang, speaking to Raiden TM is
I'm Shang Tsung and your soul is mine. Yeah.
The amount of times
like,
that we
it's
hear
like-
Sonya on the boat when she's standing there, like, Sonya, you will be mine. Sonya, we will not fight, but Sonya, Kano wants to fight with Sonya.
Well, so it's harkening back to the video game. You know how whenever you went over the character, it would kind of say their name, and we're like Sonya, 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 Sonya. So
The best part of that,
it's
though,
great.
just before we get to that, is when Reptile shows up as Reptile, there's a voiceover
actually
for
goes-
no reason, just going, Reptile.
Reptile.
Like, why?
Right. So, I mean, I guess we can kind of talk about the plot, but there is no plot, right? The plot of this is a bunch of dudes from various different industrial music videos from the 90s turn up in various sections, and then they all get put on a dragon boat,
Yes.
and then they go fight each other.
Yeah.
That is the entirety of
I
this
mean,
fucking film.
That's it. Yeah, they
That should have
tried
been the
to
back of
flesh
the
it out
DVD.
more than. Yeah, I probably would have bought it if that was on the DVD. A techno rave gets interrupted by a SWAT
Right.
team.
Right, so first of all, like in the early parts of it, when we get introduced to Sonia and Jax, it's just
Mm-hmm.
hilarious police brutality, which should not be funny, but she literally
No.
walks through a perfectly normal nightclub, gun smacking every person in her fucking path. You're like,
Yep.
why? Like, is that supposed to be a nice character? Are we supposed to fucking like her? Like, Jesus Christ.
The biggest problem with Sonya, unlike everybody else in this, I felt like everybody else had ridiculous versions of themselves personality-wise. Johnny Cage was the star of the show by a
He's
country mile. Even Liu Kang had wee moments of comedy and wee moments of his personality coming out. Sonya was the biggest wet blanket that you didn't care about. Like, anything that happened to her, you're like, okay. She just kind of stands there and goes, why is this? I hate Kano.
Yeah.
That's it.
Like,
Yeah.
So we get this establishment with Sonya's character that she hates Kano because he killed her partner, right? So she's on this big fucking revenge film, and I'm like, 10 minutes into the film, she fucking kills him.
Yeah.
Spoilers, but
Yeah.
like that's it, and then she's still going huffy face. Like, you fucking killed the guy you hate.
Yeah, you
Why
won.
aren't you happy?
Like, you're
Yeah.
the few people that
Just
won in the tournament.
Leave the tournament now. Yeah.
Yeah, a winner is you. Like,
But also, there's sort of Raiden, when Raiden's going around and telling everyone their faults, because that makes a good mentor.
Yeah.
Is he
you-
goes around and he's, you're lactose intolerant. You fucking. He turns to Sonya and he's like, you need to learn to trust people. And she's just like, bitch, no, I don't.
Like,
That should totally be Sonya's thing of being like, I am the strong, independent woman, and I can fucking, I'll snap your neck, I'll snap his neck, that reptile will snap his neck.
yeah,
I don't care.
like nothing in her things suggests trust whatsoever. Like,
Do you know why that is? It's because she kicked a man through a plate glass window and he didn't shatter the glass table.
Yeah.
That's why she has no trust.
Yeah.
Because how can you
Yes.
trust anything?
Exactly. Because she lives in a mystical wonderland of glass.
Yeah, like only windows can break, but tables no.
no.
Like,
They're too close.
Can we
to this-
talk about one of my?
Oh, you go.
I was going to say, can we talk about one of my favorite settings of the whole film? Liu Kang's apartment,
The green
Oh.
apartment.
which is apparently got green gel windows.
no, he lives in that same place where Daredevil lives in the TV show, like where he has a
Yeah.
big fucking like billboard outside his window that just shines light.
Yeah.
Like this low
Outside
rent
is just a
apartment.
massive advert for just like I
Matrix.
can't even remember. Yeah, exactly. There's just zeros and ones outside his apartment.
Coming in 5 years, The
A
Matrix.
better movie.
Yeah, but like my favorite thing about that scene is when he walks up and looks at the Western Union telegram and it just says,
Yeah.
"Brother dead, come home." Like,
And
did
you're
he
just
charge
like,
you by
is
the
it-
letter?
Is it my dad's brother? Is it my brother? Is it someone else's brother? I just what?
They went to the wrong address. It was actually his neighbour. He had nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
It's like, I honestly don't know how telegrams work, but that was just hilarious.
I know.
It'd be better if he got given it by a strippergram as well. Just brother's dead, and then just walks away. It's like, thank you guys.
Here, and he still sits down and goes, pensive.
I wonder what that means.
Better take my
Brother
shirt off
being-
for this scene.
God. So Robin Shaw, I don't know how to say his last name. He was the fight choreographer for the whole film.
Right,
Well, he should never choreograph anything ever again.
Nope.
right. Because this is the problem I had when I was watching the fighting. Because I love martial art films. Was Johnny Cage's fight with Scorpion was actually quite interesting. I enjoyed that fight because they looked like they had impact every time they hit each other. They looked like they were trying to hit each other. Every scene with Liu Kang in it, his leg was always slightly bent. He never looked like he was trying to punch people. He never looked like he was trying to kick people hard. He always looked soft when... I don't
I
get
feel
it.
like the reptile fight actually worked though.
Yeah,
Like,
that was
I
really
feel like,
good.
Like, I feel like like overall, like most of the fight choreography was really badly edited,
Mhm.
and like it seemed like nothing ever connected. You know what it kind of reminded me of is like someone who's watched Hong Kong cinema and then went, I know what they do here. They scream a lot and then they spin.
Yeah. No,
Like
well, that's
like
not
they
the
didn't
case.
pick up on any nuance or whatever's happening. Because there's a section that like really sticks in my mind. I think it's when they um
Is it the
is
stick
it
fighting? Because they spin a
no,
lot in the
it's like
stick fighting.
it's the bit where there's like it's like the three of them and they're in the room and
Yeah.
like I think it's there's it's all the kind
Yeah.
of Lin
There's
Kuei
like
Kwan I'm
tons
gonna
of
call them
guards.
Yeah.
runs in and just like starts fighting them. There's a scene where like Liu Kang literally does a handstand and flips over a bit of wall
For no
that's right
reason.
next to him for no reason. Like it stood out like a sore
Yeah.
thumb. I'm like, why
Yeah.
are you flipping? Why is-
That's some Power Ranger stuff right there. He watched Power Rangers and he was like, "That Pink Ranger, I'm gonna do that."
100%. See if I found out that Robin Shaw like directed Power Rangers episodes, I would not be like surprised in the slightest. I'm actually going to have to check his IMDb for that.
Okay.
Just like turns to Amy Jo and he's like, "You flip a bit," and she's like, "Well, why?" And he's like, "Doesn't matter.
It looks
Flip,
cool.
do it."
I
Send
think
it.
I think that's why Sub-Zero, no, the Scorpion and the Reptile fight work is because they actually get this idea of Hong Kong style fighting. They use wide angles. There's so many
Yes.
shots that's just a wide angle. Let them fight. Put stuntmen in. Let them fight. The reptile scene, which I noticed compared to like the Sub-Zero one, is it looks like it is a Hong Kong or at least a Chinese stuntman. I'd have to look into
Yes.
who it actually is. They got a martial artist, a stunt martial artist to do it, then you can
see it.
because he looks like he's trying to hit him hard, but he doesn't hit him and things. It's like all these really brilliant moments. Whereas Sub-Zero,
Also, the impacts when he hits the ground and stuff, like you can see that he's like full chest taking
Yeah.
it and stuff. Like so, the dust flies up and it looks cooler. Whereas all the other actors are just kind of like they're afraid to be hit or afraid to throw hits almost.
it's even with Liu Kang, like I couldn't believe how weak he felt even in the last fight. The last fight, which is maybe the most impactful fight in this whole martial art film, was the least impactful. It was the most boring fight I've seen. It was just them doing this.
Yeah,
You're like,
I mean, he does start like slapping him about at the
Yeah.
end, which is kind of it takes a bit, but like throughout the entire film, not many of the fight scenes actually feel like in any way impactful or anything like Mortal Kombat. Like, there's no blood, there's no like proper kind of like fatality moves or anything like that. Like, the only one you really kind of see getting like properly messed up, I guess, is Sub-Zero and Scorpion,
Yeah.
because they kind of like fall into that category of like cartoon characters at that point when you can only really see their eyes, you know. So
Yeah.
like they're maybe dehumanized in a way that they can get away from the censor boards for it. But
Yeah,
Mm.
I love their outfits. By the way, how someone probably the costume director like gave their like subsidiary. They went and just gave them $100 and said, "Go and buy the best costumes you can from
Yes.
somewhere else, and we'll use them."
Well, the thing is, you've got to remember, up until this point, Sub-Zero and Scorpion were pretty much just yellow geese and red and blue geese. That's all they were wearing,
Yeah.
like in the actual games. So for them to come up with what all those extras, like the kind of like the weird kind of chevrons and like kind of
almost like Oni
monstrous
masks.
parts, yeah, like in their costumes and give them the kind of whited out eyes on Scorpion and stuff. That's all them. Like they made
Yeah.
that up, which is really
I
cool.
guess like,
Like,
the masks and makeup are cool, but like the rest of it, obviously, like it just looks like they're wearing like a black tracksuit or something under the.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the budget for this film mostly went to Goro,
Oh
because
yeah,
my god, that must
Yeah.
be a hell of a rig. Like whatever is inside of that thing, like four
Yeah.
arms and fully animatronic face. Like, Jesus.
something else for a guy that's not really on screen too long.
No, but like when he's on screen, you're just like, whoa. It reminded me so much of like good animatronics of like the Ninja Turtles and stuff like that. Like, it has that
Yeah.
same kind of feel of like, man, I miss this kind of movie magic silliness. Because you think
Yeah.
about how far they could have taken it nowadays. With a little bit like of CGI tweaking to make muscles move better or something, it would just look sick.
It would.
Like,
It
Yeah.
really would. So, on,
The voice talent they got, I believe, was the same guy who voiced Captain Gantu in Lilo and Stitch, Kevin Michael Richardson or something like that. He's been in loads of stuff.
I really wanted to look that up, like who he was, because his voice seemed incredibly familiar when I was like watching it. Like,
he's been in loads of he's in a couple episodes of loads of things. But yeah, the one I recognise him from is Captain Gantu from Lilo and Stitch.
I feel like I really want to talk about voice acting in general when it comes to Christopher Lambert.
Okay.
Because he's introduced himself I am Raiden, I am God of Thunder, and then 2 minutes later he's like pure. I am from hello, I am Raiden, and I'm talking like this, and you're like, where is your accent? What are you going to? And there's every scene it just changes, and he can occasionally half the way through a sentence gets the growl back and stuff. It's what were you doing?
I will never understand anyone's his choice to become an actor or anyone else's choice to hire him as an actor. I just don't understand Christopher Lambert at all. I don't get it. It's the same as when I watched Highlander. I don't get it. Why do people like Highlander? It's not good.
Yeah, I honestly can't think of anything I've seen him in where he's been good, right? And can anyone
No. He was the guy from the original Punisher film, wasn't he?
Dealt with one of Dolph Lundgren.
Yeah, he was the
I think he's
Punisher.
No, Dolph Lundgren was the Punisher.
2 seconds. I'm pretty sure.
Are you confused?
I might be confused.
Hmm.
I'm looking up. Talk amongst yourselves. I need to figure this out.
Well, if we're continuing on the voice acting thing, I'm really glad they actually got Ed Boon to still do Scorpion's voice lines, though. That's fucking great. They had ones you've never even heard in the game before, get down from there.
Get down from there. Yeah, that was a good one. That was good.
Yeah, but speaking of Raiden though, I do love the idea in this movie where the special effects are just random composites of fucking weird ass shit they found lying around. Raiden comes into the scene and he's red sparkles and lights, and everyone's oh, he's the god of lightning. You got that from sparkles that are red?
He could be just the god of sparks or the
fairy. That's very fairy looking the way he came in.
Exactly. And then Shang Tsung's powers throughout the entire film, they change from being it turns people transparent, that their skeletons are visible and you can pull out a weird essence, and then it turns into white goop that flies out and goes into his eyeball, and then it transforms into a giant skeleton demon that comes out and does a thing, and then it transforms into pick one. What the fuck does it look like?
On the note of giant skeleton demon, I want to have a wee quick talk about that fight, because it really, really got under my skin.
Which one?
The very last, that giant skeleton last fight. The end fight.
Oh, the fight with Shang Tsung.
Yeah, Liu Kang, Shang Tsung's fight. Because they play the Mortal Kombat theme, which is so good, at the absolute wrong time. They play it at the start of that fight, not at the bit where Liu Kang kicks the shit out of the cronies, which would have made sense playing it then. Because Shang Tsung's kind of winning, and then he brings the cronies back, and then you have the Mortal Kombat song as he kicks the crap out of them, where everybody just watches, which I don't get that. He's cheated, why you's not jumping in now?
Because technically, no, it's still Shang Tsung. He owns all those souls, so I mean, he's not using extra people, it's just all Shang Tsung.
That really annoyed me, because I was like, man, that'd have been such a more interesting fight with the music at the different part. Because then you don't get that music at all until the very, very end, after the Mean Girls bit of it. The Mean Girls music crossover bit that I was talking about happened at the end.
Yeah.
That song before the Mortal Kombat song at the end is the Mean Girls song, but just a snippet of it.
Yeah, but I can't really complain about a lot of the music choices.
So
I mean, it's quite banging techno and quite a lot of fun stuff that really gets you hyped for the fights. Especially when I think the reptile fight by itself, see if you just clip that, that's just fucking cool. The whole thing, the way it's choreographed, the music that goes with it, that whole section by itself is just badass. But unfortunately, it's surrounded by this murky pile of crap that occasionally gets quite good, then immediately throws itself back down in the dirt.
It was exactly with the Scorpion fight for me. I'm just if you could choreograph this like this, because the rest of the film can be pants. But as long as your fights look actually out of this world, see the amount of fights that were nothing. See the beach fighting, no point to any of them. really. A bit of exposition in them, but those fights were just so uninteresting and boring. I hated the Kano Sonya fight because it started kind of interesting of big powerful guy kicking the shit out of her, she's wily, and then she went, I'm going to kill you with my thighs because that's what women do. It's a women thing to do. I'll squeeze your head with my thighs.
I mean, to be fair, like I think like the kind of Hurricane Rana type thing was like one of her moves,
It
sort of
just
thing.
looked-
So like, of course they kind of incorporated that,
It just
but like,
looked meh because they had this nice back and forward between them, and then when he was, because he just beat her on the ground, and then out of nowhere, she handstands, grabs his head, and flips him over, and I'm just like, man, you could have had such a more interesting fight, and we would have been more empathetic to you now, because you're a wet blanket.
Well, it could have done more with, like, you know, Kano being that cheating, like, because we saw a scene earlier being like, I appreciate a fight that's just hand to hand, and you know the good old days of fighting, but he takes out a knife. Good on you, sticking to your guns and morals. But I would have loved more of that, like if he ended up landing a couple slashes on her, or at one point he, you know, punches her in the kidney or throws sand in her face. Something like make him a cheating scumbag.
Yeah.
And make him better. Make him better than Sonya.
Something that would be kind of interesting as well would be kind of like if she uses that knife to kill him at the end, because like she's kind of like obviously on a hell bent rage, like, and she like maybe she like hold the knife over him ready to fucking kill him, and then she kind of realizes that she's better than him or something and does something different, but no, she just fucking murders him in the most like uneventful way. But it does have a fun line though, which is, oh, Guy's a bright love, and she fucking breaks his neck. Like that's funny. I'll give you that.
Like Kano was fun as a character. In general, he was like one of the few that you're like, he's kind of fun. Even though he's a bad bastard.
He's just underutilized
sure.
is what it is.
Definitely.
But tell you what's not underutilized in this film though.
What's that?
Styrofoam.
Yes.
Oh.
My God, they must have like bankrupted the entirety of like this realm and the other realm for like getting all the styrofoam in the world to build these sets, man. Fuck's sake.
The sets were pretty banging considering. You know, like the fact that they actually went out of their way to make these ridiculous sets was pretty cool. Do you know what was a cool moment?
Don't forget, smoke on the water.
Do you know what? I quite like that whole dock layout. It was a shame we didn't spend enough time in it because that feels like that was such a money sink to have that dock. And then they went, we're here for 5 minutes, then we left. And I'm like, man, so much more should have happened on the dock. We should have had a fight on the dock.
Did anyone pay attention to the scene while they were on the boat, but they were above, like on the top? Did you notice the very obvious backdrop that
you can see the backdrop? It's like literally in frame, and there's like the smoke machine ends where it hits the wall and stuff. And I'm just like, why did you film it from that angle? Like just cut round and like knock it off. It's it was
somebody greenlit that.
Do you know what's really good though? Like I want to say two shots that I thought were actually pretty fucking fantastic in this film. One of the ones was like, see when Sonya breaks onto the boat and is like looking for Kano, right? She does this thing where she kind of goes down the stairs, right? And then the camera is still focused on her, but the camera pulls back as she kicks the door open. I was like, that's a really fucking cool angle. How did they get like that through the gap and stuff? I'm like, that's really cool.
Yeah, so it looks like they've tracked back through the door. That was really cool. That was a really nice shot.
There was another one that I was actually quite happy about, but now I can't even fucking remember it. Like, because just I've only got all the bad shots in my head. Like, remember that bit where they pan up the tower?
Yeah.
And like you see Sonya and like this really badly cut out green screen, like she's like 3 pixels wider or something.
Yeah.
It's fucking hurts my head. She, you know what she looked like at that point? She kind of reminded me of Kelly Bundy from fucking Married with Children.
Jesus.
There was 2 shots in this that I felt like didn't need to be in it, and it was just there to show off their CGI. That shot where they pan out from them climbing up the stairs, and then another shot where they're talking on a bridge, and they feel like we just need to go straight up and show you all the other interconnecting stone bridges. You're like, you added nothing to this story. I mean, nothing, and you probably spent thousands of pounds on that shot. For what reason? Because you never go through those tunnels ever again over those bridges. It's like it's such. There's so many weird decisions in this, and I'm just like, why?
I remember the other shot I really like. It's the one where like because they're obviously in a man-made forest when they're fighting. This Johnny Cage fight,
Yeah.
and it gets it from the angle where it's like, because man-made forests are always like 1, 2, 3, they're planted in like in order, and so it gets it from the angle where it looks like they're kind of going out in a kind of 2-point perspective,
Yes.
and it just looks
Yeah.
so beautiful the way it's
Yeah.
like it's kind of like almost like a mirror maze like they're
Yeah.
in, and it just that
Yeah.
shot is so nice.
Yeah.
Some.
Maybe that's where you got the idea for most of the Resident Evil scenes from. Then is that
Yeah, shit. I really liked the guy that played Shang Tsung,
Yes.
yes,
and I
fucking
liked him.
eats it.
Oh yeah, he embraces the role for exactly what it is.
Mhm.
And this actor was handpicked. Nobody else was going to be Shang Tsung. Like,
Really? Okay, cool.
yeah, Anderson was like, "This is the guy. He's going to be my Shang Tsung," and they actually changed it to make Shang Tsung younger in this iteration of the film, so that he could suit this actor, not have to go through tons of makeup and stuff like that. And that is
again,
brilliant.
They changed the character of Shang Tsung to look like him in
this game.
Mortal Kombat 3 because they were
Yep.
like they wanted that he was badass. They were like, holy shit, he nailed that performance.
Yeah.
I say Kari Hiroyuki, I think. Yeah, Kari Hiroyuki.
Kari Hiroyuki Tagawa.
Yeah, no, he was
and
really good in this.
He came back in another video game film, a video game fighting
Yes.
film. He was in Tekken.
He played Heihachi Mishima, like in Tekken.
I am Heihachi Mishima.
I was like,
Oh.
whoa, no way. Like, I actually couldn't
Yeah.
believe he came back for a second video game movie and one that's almost debatably worse than Mortal Kombat.
I don't know. Because I really love Tekken, I sort of really wanted to enjoy the Tekken film. So there's certain bits I'm just like, that's really cool. But then there's certain bits I'm just like, that makes no sense, as I imagine people did with this.
Yeah.
I
mean,
the one thing I would have. Sorry, go on. Mark.
No, that's just fine. Go ahead. Yeah, keep going on about that because I was going to just.
Oh no, I was
other points.
I was going to go on about a different point. It was, I would have liked things to be a bit more subtle in certain places.
Yes.
Like
See if they stopped saying everyone's names in particular, or if they maybe kind of just let plot points develop on their own and maybe organize the tournament in a certain way, like when the fights will happen, why they're happening, point systems, anything kind of like Karate Kid, but with the Mortal Kombat.
Yeah. So even if I get that, obviously they've got the plot point of Johnny faces Goro, like he has his tactic for beating Goro, so he
punches
him
he sets
right in the dick. I love that.
So
moment.
good. But I would have loved it if it wasn't set up and he was just like running low on points and he's just like, oh, next up I'm due to fight. Oh no, and he's just like, I'm gonna fight Goro, and stuff like that. And Sonya's like gunning to get the points to fight Kano or something like that. That would have made it really good. I would have loved if like certain background characters, like if they had just said Jax once or twice.
Yeah.
If Sonya's like, come on, Jax, and that's it.
But it's like a Sonya Blade, what are we doing here? Well, Jax Briggs, we're here to do the Jax. Wow, Sonya, is that what we're doing? Yes, Jax Briggs, we are doing the thing. Like, stop it.
And when they introduced Reptile as well, because it was the statue, and the statue was so still, I would have loved it if he's like, keep an eye on a Reptile. I would have loved just one single blink or a single wink at Shang Tsung to be like, yep, got you, confirmed. But instead, they come out with this fucking monstrosity that looks. Yeah.
What is that? Like, who's honestly proud of that? Who finished their CGI and went, yep, that's the one? Like, we've got this team of practical effects guys who can make little animatronics. Should we make another one for this? Nah.
Right.
Nah. Why would you do that?
Put a monster out there that looks like a bunch of bubbles.
Bunch of bubbles.
I watched an interesting video by Corridor Digital, who are a VFX company, basically. And Ren did a TED talk on this, which was very interesting when it comes to CGI and basically bad CGI. And what he was saying is, 9 times out of 10, bad CGI comes from the fact that you're never given enough time to finish it. So what happens is, see the CGI you give out is just basically what the time schedule suggests. There's no other way around it. It's like no CGI artist wants to. Well, probably some do, some don't care. But I'd imagine the studio that did all the CGI, could have done all of it, were given the most ridiculous time schedule in 1995 to make CGI. I think that's probably what's happened.
Well, see, the best way to get around that though, like, and what this is why they didn't think smart about it, right? See, when you see like that part towards the end of like the fight, like where he's like squirming about, but like he's got all these weird colored, untextured shit all over him. Why wouldn't they just apply the fucking transparency filter to him constantly? Because that way you never get enough of a chance to see how bad it looks. And it also, because I mean, like, we've had that shit since Predator, right? Give it, like, just do it, right? Just put that kind of transparency filter that they use occasionally with them always on them. And that way, like, you never get a chance to see how shit it looks. Like, they could have just done that in post, no problem. But instead, they were like, make it front and center. I want a scene where he's like, if you're chomping at the camera for 50 seconds with these untextured bullshit going on. Like,
and we've got a company here who is absolutely not afraid to go near practical effects, and I'm not just on about like Goro. This is New Line Cinema, and have you guys seen the first Nightmare on Elm Street film?
Yeah. Like it's brilliant.
The practical effects in that are amazing, especially with the likes of the room going upside down to get certain shots, and the one with Johnny Depp where he gets drawn through the bed. Brilliant stuff. Get more practical. Obviously, I get it's more time consuming and more expensive possibly, but it makes a better film.
Like even some of the scenes of like, because they seem to glorify it, like they kind of thought it was cool, like all the stuff with like Scorpion's weird like thing that comes out of his hand, right? That wasn't necessary. We just needed it to kind of like fly past camera like really quickly and not think about it. But no, they held on it for so long and so many scenes, just looking at it and napping at things, and you're like, man.
Also, why did it need to be a little creature that napped it? Was it not just like a chain?
It's a chain spear. Yeah, like in most of the games. Again, it's just bloat where someone is like, that'd be fucking badass if it's a creature.
Do you know,
and like,
I thought, see the actual animation of the hand opening, I actually thought that looked really nice. But as you say, see if they'd done that instead of it coming out and then sitting on his hand, see if it came out and just shot out, it'd have looked so good. Because the rest of it looked...
You'd have no time to think about it. You'd be like, whoa, what the fuck was that? That was cool.
We do like this film, though, because I realise we've spent quite a bit of time shitting on it, but I have a lot of fun with this film. Yeah.
Well, bear in mind that we had a massive chat beforehand about
everything,
all those other questions from the news. So
that was to warm us up.
Yeah, like I don't think I shat in it too much. I thought like there's a lot that's actually really fun. Like I enjoy the silliness of it. I enjoy like even like Christopher Lambert pooping about. I enjoy the spectacle of the whole thing. The music's great. The locations.
Did anyone hang around for the credits? Did anyone hang around for the credits? No. By the way, there are 4 different songs in the credits.
Yes,
cool.
The credits are about 5 minutes long, and there's 4 songs in it.
That's so good. Again, it's mad to think of a film that if you had to watch it, not watching it when you're younger, you'd probably go meh. But just because how good the music is, you don't care. You actually don't care. How many times in your life have you shoved the Mortal Kombat theme on just because you need revved up for something? Like, you go, like, I need to go running.
Yes.
I know I need to go running. I don't want to run. And you put Mortal Kombat on, and then it just goes, Mortal Kombat. And then suddenly you're sprinting at 100 mile an hour going, I fucking got this for 3.5 minutes.
No, but that's what I mean. Like, all the music in this is fucking hype, right? It just gets you right into it. As I say, this is the perfect industrial music video of the early, like, 90s, right? That it just encapsulate that. See if, like, there was, like, 9 Inch Nails playing in the background of every scene, I wouldn't even think about it. I'd just be like, yep, that's this how it goes.
Do you know, see, with this film, because I didn't realise it was about an hour and 40-odd minutes. Yeah.
40? Hour and 40,
see if they cut out, basically, the scenes of them just walking from A to B. I think that would make this film a nice wee chunk better. See, like a lot of the exposition of them just walking through somewhere and Raiden going, yes, the reason for Mortal Kombat is Mortal Kombat, Outer World, Mortal Kombat.
what I would like is a cut where they just edit out everyone's
Yes.
names, like, and see how much you would drop off the running time. Like another like 60 minutes is gone because no one said the word Sonya Blade for the 50th time.
I would have also liked see the fight with Goro and the other martial artist that kind of knows Johnny. Either cut that completely, or
The guy, who is
exactly,
he?
that's what I was going to say.
He gets
Yeah,
What's
he's
his name?
Cage's
Yeah.
friend. It's Lee or
But
something
this is
like
the weird
that.
thing. Like, okay, so there's a part. This guy, right? If anyone hasn't seen the film, there's a guy who shows up at the beginning of the film. He's like, "Oh, hey," and Johnny Cage says his name once, and it's because he's not a Mortal Kombat character. We don't get his name repeated over and over with a little copyright TM next to it. So he's just like, "Hey, you," and then all of a sudden, they're like bestest friends. Everyone knows him and everyone loves him. And this is like, Sonya Blade has been told you need to trust people more and care about people. And there's a scene where he gets his ass kicked and she's going, no! Like, she doesn't even know him. She doesn't even give a fuck. What's his name, Sonya? Tell me his name.
Yeah, I never understood his whole thing. It's like it was to set up Goro and Johnny, but it doesn't matter what just because he was a fan. Johnny's like big. He's huge in the world of martial art movies. Even though he's shit now, he was well known. It's like it just didn't make sense to me. It was either you cut him out completely, or you spend more time with him and the gang, and have him there as an extra character going around with them. But the fact that they just introduced him on the boat, left him till his fight basically, and then went feel sorry for him dying. I'm like, what?
Like, I'm actually right now looking through the IMDb page and I cannot find him.
So,
Who is he? I can see all the other like random fighters.
I can't remember him.
If he maybe
There we are.
this one character called Art, maybe is that him?
Maybe because you would get
Because there's a character with no profile picture, right? That's how like
Right.
unknown this person is.
now you're watching always the worst googling.
Like,
Yep.
How can you have a character in your show in your movie that no one knows the name of, and in a film where
Yes,
everyone knows their names?
So his name was Art Lean, played
Oh,
by
so he is
Kenneth
Art Lean.
Edwards,
Right.
a martial artist and friend of Johnny Cage who competes in the tournament. Lean is loosely based on Kung Lao.
What? Then should he not be like told?
He has
nothing to
none.
do with Kung Lao.
He has so Kung Lao looks like a shadowy version of Raiden.
No, he looked like a guy
Um,
with a giant
Yeah,
metal
yeah.
hat
Kung Lao
that like,
is
sliced people in half.
Liu Kang's pal. Kung Lao, Liu Kang. Get how clever they were with
Yeah.
it.
Like,
I don't know. In the picture that I've got here, it kind
Oh,
of
no,
looks
no,
like
no,
a
do you
shadowy
know-
version of Raiden. But yeah, I get he's got like the metal
The
hat.
shadowy
yeah.
version of him could be him from the new game because he's like kind of demony in the new game.
Yeah, that's Mortal Kombat
But,
11.
like
yeah.
in Mortal Kombat 2, when you first see him at first, like he wears like a kind of like a black gi robe with like
Yeah.
a kind of kanji on it, and he has like a hat that's
Yeah,
like,
and he's got like an odd job hat. Yeah.
and he's also like
Yeah.
Asian.
Yeah, I mean,
I mean,
He's
There's
from
that.
Liu Kang's
Yeah.
temple.
we should give credit to that. Like really though, like in a 1995 like action film to have like a predominantly Asian cast is massive. Like
Yeah.
as well for like a
Yeah.
big property that's obviously American based. It must have been pretty fucking
Yeah.
good. Like it's
The main thing I think this film is missing, because it's Mortal Kombat, I think it's missing a lot of gore.
Yeah.
Practical gore.
yes.
I would have
Oh my-
loved if, especially during like the Goro fight, if he had just like picked up even a fake torso of that guy
Yep.
in his like forearms, picked him up, one limb each, and just tore him apart.
Instead of mildly bopping him on the head. as a
Yeah,
fatality.
that's it.
To be fair though,
Yeah.
that might be a callback to what literally every kid did when they were trying to input the fucking fatality buttons and just end
Yeah.
up pressing light punch and knocking someone on the head. Doosh.
Imagine just like this is like Shang Tsung's just like Goro, finish him, and Goro's just like moves back, ducks
Oh
a
my
little bit,
God.
moves forward, and like jumps, and then just chops him.
Why didn't they have that in it? Of like, say something stupid like he stumbles on like a wee stone, so he
No.
does actually do the jump up bit thing because he falls over.
What? The thing, the complete like stiff body fall that
Yeah.
they do in the games, where like they get punched, they go straight forward and they fall directly backwards. That would have been brilliant to see. Just
Oh.
like,
Because the film's cheesy anyway, so you might as well lean into it.
I know, lean into it as hard as you can. But I think
exactly.
like overall, I still
Yes.
enjoy this film. I think it's fun, it's silly, it gets you hype, but my God, there was a lot of things they could have easily just like smoothed
Yeah.
over to make it like an actual like 8 out of 10 instead of like a 6 out of
Yeah.
10, if you know what I
Yeah,
mean.
there's just a lot of decision making aspects of this that somebody else didn't look at the decisions they were making. See that way kind of fresh eyes nonsense? Like somebody went, this is what we should do, and then never gave it to anybody else to go, should we do this? It has a lot of
but-
that feeling.
All I can say really is at least it's not Mortal Kombat Annihilation.
Very true. Like, it took, there is a dip happens in this. This series does take a huge dip. And maybe at some point,
It's not because it's not Paul
Yeah.
Anderson who does the sequel though, so like you can't even
Yeah.
blame him.
maybe at some point in the far flung future, we'll do Annihilation.
Do we
God, I
have
hope
to?
not.
I mean, it's not free on Amazon, so I'm not willing to spend that money.
I don't have the DVD for that one, so I'm not gonna watch
Fuck
it.
no, like I watched it like maybe twice, and each time I was just like, "What is going on here?" It's like somehow they managed to figure out a way to make these movies less enjoyable. I mean, I get that they were going for more of a like straight video game copy,
No.
but it's not
No.
good.
There is very huge, massive, please, oh god, issues in that film.
Especially since the fact that they kill Johnny Cage in the first 5 seconds of the second movie, which is like, he's your main character. He's the coolest guy in the entire franchise, and you've just fucking killed him off
Yeah.
for good.
Yeah.
Ah, well.
Well, we're not here to discuss the decline. We're here to discuss how good this one is, which was fucking so much fun. It's like, it just, every time I watch it, this is kind of like my final thoughts on this one is, seeing I watch this, and I watched it a few times as an adult, is it makes me feel like a kid again when I watch these films. It's like watching the weird comparison, but it's for me like watching old Jackie Chan films. I always remember them from when I watched them when I was wee. It's like, and I get that when I watch this. There's a few films that I've tried and watched when I was wee that I just can't now. It's just like my adult brain clicks in too much, and I'm just like, oh, that used to be good. But this one, I think the music hooks you so fucking much that you can't help but revert. And you're sitting there going, oh, fucking fight scenes. Oh, I'm gonna fight. It's gonna be so cool. Like, I might go and get my pals and we'll do like Mortal Kombat kid on fighting in the back garden and stuff. And everybody will argue about who's superpower.
Rip his head off and take his
No.
spine out.
Yeah, I think I don't know. Like, there's a lot about this movie that's just so fucking fun, and I don't think you'll ever see something as daft and cheesy ever again in kind of like mainstream cinema. Like when I think about this film, like there's so many bits you're just like, you're what?
Yeah.
Like, like how?
Yeah.
Why?
You would never get a green light for a film like this anymore. You just wouldn't.
No.
It's a sign of its times, and big chunks of it doesn't age
I
well.
think
But because it's a sign of its time,
Yeah.
you got a chance of it.
I feel like the only way you could really get people to actually like make a movie like this now would be if you said starring Nicolas Cage as Raiden, you know?
God.
Oh, not Nicolas Cage as Johnny Cage.
Who? Like on that one,
Jesus, no.
So- 2020. If you're to remake this film with your big three stars, who would you put in as each of the roles? This is my last thing before we wrap up. Let's see if we can do this.
Right, I'm trying to think.
Oh.
Is there even people who can be as bad at acting these days?
It doesn't
Like,
need to be bad acting. This could be our perfect version of the film. Like, we could be good actors who can do a wee bit of comedy in their acting. I would love to see either the guy from The Raid or Tony Jaa play Liu Kang. I think that'd
Okay.
be really cool. Like have like actual, because he's the straight guy. You know, he's the the badass martial artist. So put in a badass martial artist.
What's his name again? The director of The Raid. It's something Jones
yeah, some
or
Welsh guy.
It's whatever the typical
Yeah,
Welsh
it's
name.
like this Welsh guy. Does this?
Yeah.
It's so cool.
Stephen Jones, David
Yeah.
Jones.
Oh my god, imagine him
Hang on, I'm
directing it.
gonna look it.
Oh my god, that'd be so good.
Like Gareth Evans. That's it, Gareth Evans.
Gareth
Like
Evans. That
Gareth
is a
Evans,
Welsh
man,
name.
doing a Mortal
Oh my
Kombat
God.
movie. That would be
Uh,
Do
sick.
you know what he has to do as well? Because you've got the game mode in Mortal Kombat called the Tower, so he just puts them in the tower again. And it's just Luke Cage running up the tower.
Just fighting his way up the fucking tome of every single other guy.
That'd be
Shit,
so
that would be
cool. It'd
great.
basically be Tower of
Oh,
Death by Bruce Lee, but 100 times better. Oh,
Man.
so good.
Like I would like to see a predominantly like kind of
Yeah.
Asian cast for it though. Like so just getting any kind of like proper martial artists. I wouldn't really care if they can act. Like that's about it. Like as long as they actually have proper stuntmen and women and like all working on this project, that'd be great. Like I just need them to punch
Yeah,
good.
I think that's where that other film falls flat on the kind of main road for this is where it, as you're saying, where it's a 6 and not an 8 is. See if the stunt choreography and the fight choreography was just lit, like it was just the fucking pinnacle of it. It would make up for every flaw.
Tell you what they do right in this flex choreography.
Yes.
See when that guy turns up with the bandana on and he just starts going like pure
Yeah.
like flexing
Yeah.
out and he's like every part of his body is just
Yeah.
popping. You're just like shit, son.
Do you know what I love about that?
Like, what is that?
Is Sub-Zero's look of just like, I'm going to freeze you in a minute.
Yeah, you're gonna die. You're gonna explode.
Yeah.
I'm gonna turn you into an ice mold.
So,
Tell you what though, the freezing effects in this film are much better than they did in Geostorm.
yes, I will admit
Yeah.
that. So, if Gareth Evans, if you're out there watching Weirdly Our podcast, go make the Mortal Kombat films.
If you're one of the
Looking for
6 people.
inspiration, you know.
You can do it. We believe in you.
Oh, should we tweet Gareth
I might
Evans?
Like remake
Nice.
Mortal Kombat, please. We need it in our lives.
So, does anybody else have any final thoughts on this?
I think it's as far as it goes, like, let's face it, video game movies suck ass, right? There is not a single good one out there. Actually, I think the act of sucking ass is more preferable to video game movies, right?
I'm gonna make this my mission, not to suck ass, to try and find a good video game movie. I'm gonna try, and I've been hunting a while. I've been hunting a while.
Like, honestly, like Ina was trying to suggest like movies that we should watch that are terrible, and she literally listed off
They were
all
all video games.
all Uwe Boll's video game movies,
Okay.
like
Wow.
like Blood Rain, like Alone in the Dark. Like he did so many shitters. He did one fucking amazing movie though, and I don't know if it will age well because it was intentionally quite
Oh, yeah.
edgy humor. But that was
Okay.
Postal.
Okay.
He did a Postal movie, and my God, did it land! Like that movie is fucking dark, hilarious, and weird. And he's in it,
It's
like taking the piss out of himself for making
Okay.
shit films. So it's quite cool.
Right.
it's not the one of like the front DVD cover is like a guy standing with like a shirt and he's got the suitcase and a shotgun. It's not hit that,
That's
is it?
Falling Down you're thinking of, but like
That's Falling Down,
no, but I think Postal does have a very similar.
I mean, Going Postal's got the same kind of.
Actually, I think it might be. I think they did. Yeah, no, the Postal one's him in like a t-shirt with an AK and a monkey and
Right.
Vernon Troy, or is it Vernon
fu-
Troyer? Is that his name?
Oh, Vern Troy. Yeah.
Vernon Troyer.
I
yeah,
thought
sorry,
you said Vernon Troy for a second. I was like the guy from Face Off.
I think I got them the wrong
um,
way around. Yeah, Vern Troyer,
that's
not
Castor.
Vernon Troy.
Vern
yes.
Yes.
But
In terms of final thoughts on Mortal Kombat, this is the kind of film to me that you either put on at a house party when you've just got friends round and you're not really paying attention to it, just have it on in the background, or put it on but just sit and riff.
Yeah.
Just sit and talk shit. Enjoy it, but talk shit. Like,
I
have some
agree.
drinks and have
Oh
a
my
laugh.
goodness.
Yeah.
The Dungeons and Dragons film, which I have seen,
it's also
Yeah.
it's also Uwe Boll, isn't
Double
it?
Dragon
I'm
or
pretty sure.
Super Mario. Thanks, Ina and Thomas. The Super Mario film is, I love it. It's so bad.
I kind
Hey,
of want to
that's-
see that
Me
again.
too.
That's got John Leguizamo, and that's a sign up from me.
Okay.
Do you know what I also saw recently? There was a John Leguizamo in it. I think it's
Leguizamo.
Is that how you say it? I never
Yeah.
could pronounce that, like ever.
Is it Chef?
No, I think he was. Was he not in Spawn?
Oh, I don't know.
Not sure.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, he's in Spawn, and
Right.
Spawn's another one of those movies where like the CGI was so overused, but it was not up to par, and you were like,
Yeah.
why wouldn't you just try and not do it?
Which is such a shame
Like,
because the guy that got to play Spawn is such a good martial art kind of fighter guy that they're just so underused because
yeah, Al Simmons, wasn't it? Yeah. No, actually, no,
No,
Al Simmons is
no,
the
no,
character. Sorry, yeah, but no, I mean like, yeah, like who was he?
He's been
Who
in
was it
so
again?
many martial art films. I can't remember his name now. I'll have to have a look up for it at some point. So, I would quite.
Yeah.
This is just a thing for next week that I would quite like to bring up. I quite enjoyed our chat beforehand about other things. So, I've got a topic for next week if you guys wish to join me on this fantastical ride. Why is it they can't adapt gaming to film? We'll have a wee quick chat about it before we jump into our next week's film.
Okay.
Are you cool for that?
Yeah, I think. Yeah, there's a lot of points where I can think of that. Yeah.
And I think that kind of warms up the Yale vocal cords.
What are we watching next week?
I don't know. We have now got a spreadsheet thanks to you, Mark, so we can keep adding to it.
Yes, we do.
I'll have a.
So we're gonna add in. Apparently, I didn't even know there was a Double Dragon movie,
I
Thomas.
did.
Like, I'm just gonna put that out
loved
there, man.
Film. It was so good.
Super Mario, I really want in the list because I haven't seen it in so long.
Mhm.
Like, I feel like I have these vague memories of like awful parts in it, and that's all I can think of. Like, I remember as a kid, I went to the cinema and I sat there going, "The fuck is this shit?"
Thomas brings up a good one there of Street Fighter: The Legend of Chun-Li is also a film, but do you know there's another one that we could do a comparison of?
Yeah.
The Street Fighter Ryu Ken story that was like a web series that got turned into its own thing.
I've seen that. Like, it's good fight choreography and stuff, but I think it lacks anything in the way of like
Yeah.
plot or acting
Yeah.
or things. I wouldn't really call it a movie. It is still just like a
Yeah.
showpiece.
I
like,
quite enjoyed that. I like the fact that they actually tried real hard
It's
to
good.
make a fighting film out of Street Fighter.
Yes. Yeah.
I thought it was.
It's on Amazon as well,
Yes.
by the way. You can get it on Prime if you're ever looking for it. It's good to watch. It's not too
Mhm.
long either. I'd recommend it to anyone.
Okay, so we'll discuss over the next few days our film for next week. Keep everybody in suspense because that's always the way to do this. Ooh, what we're going to watch?
I do think that I'm gonna add as many Uwe Boll movies to the to the list as possible.
Jesus.
Okay.
I don't think any of them will be
Oh,
on
God,
streaming
no.
services because nobody
No.
wants that shit
Well,
anywhere
that
near them.
should probably put
Actually,
them on
it'll-
streaming services because that's all they can kind of get these days is the garbage of the day at the moment because everybody's doing their own.
Actually, I think they'll all be on Prime because Prime has all those weird channels you can subscribe to. Like,
So it's a possibility.
yeah.
Right. So I am not going to take us out this time. I have
okay.
learned the errors of my ways. I can't do it. I'm shit at it. So Michael, take us away.
Yep.
Guys, it's always a pleasure, and we're always the worst.
Till next time. Bye.
Bye. And I might watch Doom. Doom's a
Bye.
good movie.
Oh, I love Doom.
Oh God, not Doom, no.